Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Let me tell you something. We know referees have a tough job, but Tony Weeks, he actually comes out and he speaks in defense of the decision he made where he stopped the Ghanaian fighter Lawson, who was facing Virgil Ortiz. If you've been following the channel, you know I'm really big on listening a whole lot and talking very little. I personally think Tony Weeks, if he chose to talk, he could have said something differently. I have an idea, but it's not about what I think necessarily as far as what he should have written. But I do think what he offered here just, all it does is open up even more opportunity for people to criticize him and ridicule him, and for there to, if anything, to have created more skepticism about his ability to effectively referee fights. Now, what he goes on to say is, what the public didn't know, that prior to the fight, they did a brain scan on him. Now, he's talking about Lawson, the opponent of Virgil Ortiz. He said it came up and that that there was an aneurysm. He said they did a test again, and the same aneurysm came up. So what he's saying is, before the fight, there were some brain scans done where the fighter Lawson, his scan revealed an aneurysm. They did the test again, and the same aneurysm showed up. Then he says another doctor was brought in and gave him the same examination, and then Lawson tested negative for the aneurysm. So they cleared him to fight. Now, okay, this is the thing. Couple things here. One, Tony Weeks is not a referee. He's not a doctor, all right? So if a doctor clears him to fight, Tony Weeks, in my opinion, now this is just my opinion, he shouldn't be in the ring playing Doogie Howser and stopping fights because he's worried about the fighter having a CAT scan done that showed an aneurysm. Although another doctor came in and said, nah, negative, nothing's there, he's cleared to fight. So what this tells us is that he did stop that fight prematurely. He did. So where everybody's like, oh, well, you don't know nothing about boxing. There was unanswered punches, blah, blah, blah. Yo, hold your horses, McNicholas. Tony Weeks had just told on himself. Now, this is the other question. Let's say there's some truth to what Tony Weeks is saying, which I tend to believe him because with him and his capacity, unless he got the secret society connection, he can't just throw a statement like this out, because now what he does is he exposes the corruption and all the secret society crap that I'm always talking about, where people think that, oh man, this guy's crazy, he's on acid, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Look here, McNicholas. So what do you call this? If a fighter has 2 brain scans done, they both come back showing an aneurysm, that's not the answer they want to make the fight go forward. So they bring another doctor in to make sure that when that brain scan is done, it comes back negative. So you tell me what's going on. Like I always say, key decision makers, behind the scenes, the secret society, the people who make things happen. Because if that's the case, what that tells us is that De La Hoya, the sanctioning bodies, the commission, they're all foul. Simple. And if Tony Weeks knew they were foul, and that was his way of kind of controlling the situation, was to save that guy from potentially getting killed in that ring, because we know Virgil Ortiz, he didn't look that great in my opinion, but that joker's strong. And he was landing enough shots to where if that guy already had an aneurysm, if that fight continued, it wasn't going to get any better. And he may have ended up dying in that ring. But right now, I don't know what to believe. But what I will tell you is Tony Weeks said a whole lot. And those key decision makers who were involved and the decision to let this man go forward, if it was true that he had an aneurysm that showed up on 2 different tests, they just brought a different doctor in to make sure he was cleared to fight, and so the test came back negative. I tell you right, but people right now feeling a bit miserable because Tony Weeks and his short passage on Twitter said a whole lot. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.